always remember to keep my thing on there. So yeah, I ended up getting a replacement mic for my Yeti here. My other one would just like stop working. So, you know, it would kind of start and stop and all that stuff. But yeah, so anyways, hopefully I can be heard a lot better. Hopefully the buzzing noise at the very end there isn't going to be a big deal anymore. And yeah, so anyways, let's go ahead and begin here. And I guess we'll go ahead and start the very first topic by talking about, well, as you might imagine, apparently Sonat, or not Sonat, Zines, I guess you could say, was sort of listening to me, or was sort of paying attention to my videos, I guess you might call it, and say, wouldn't it be just totally fucking hilarious if you drop the sequel to the game that he's playing as he's calling people out of his bullshit, on their bullshit. You know, calling him a bad company, saying how much he hates the game and whatnot, or how much he hates their shit but loves the game. Let's do that and make him praise the company itself. Well, sorry Zinch, I hate to disappoint you, but that's not really going to be... Yeah, yes. Thanks, I appreciate it. I had to get my replacement for my old Yeti mic because it wasn't working, and beforehand I was using this microphone here. For whatever reason, it picks up the sound of my computer thing. But the Yeti mic doesn't do that, which is good. Or at least I'm replacing the sound circuit to do that. So yeah,
Stop the Space Marines!
but, you know, as you might imagine, that game industry topic. So, yeah, let's talk a little bit about that sequel there. Oops. I did not notice that. So, yeah, all things considered, the trailer looks kind of cool then. So, oh, it's a little bit hard to hear me? Okay, then let me go ahead and turn down the volume here within the game. Let me just do that. Let's see here real quick. Sorry, it's not what I want. Here we go. There we go. Hopefully I can be heard a little bit better now. Or actually no, it looks like I can't. Let me go ahead and change the volume here more directly on my thing. In fact, let me just up this. Sorry. You might hear the dogs clopping around in the background, so, you know, unfortunately that's going to be a thing there. But anyways, I'll bring the mic a little bit closer to my face there, so it can be picked up a little bit better. And yeah, okay. So yeah, hopefully this will work a lot better. Let me just check it out real quick. I seem to be getting a little bit parody on there. Hopefully I can be heard a lot better though. So let me see here. Sorry, just bringing that back up. And yeah, let me know if you're still having problems hearing me there. But yeah, so the game dropped. It kind of looks interesting to say the least. Review. Yeah, and the game beforehand seems a little bit interesting. You know, the fact that they showed a little bit of gameplay here and there is a nice touch. So, alright, cool then, thanks. Yeah. So yeah, it's a nice touch, more or less. The fact that they added the gameplay, I really wasn't expecting that at all. I was really like surprised to see Titus. I wasn't too sure if they were going to do Titus again, due to the simple fact that, well, when I saw the initial trailer, the thumbnail I saw was like, oh great, Primaris. You know, it's the Primaris, and they're probably not going to bother. They're probably not going to bother giving us Titus because, well, you know, Titus was a regular Space Marine, and we don't really know anything about him since then. But, you know, when they revealed his face there, I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm not mad at it anymore then. So, yeah. The fact that they're replacing the fact that they're replacing the orcs with Tyranids is pretty interesting, to say the least. And it's something that I like. You know, it'll be an interesting change of pace from this one. So, god damn, I can't see a damn thing with that. There we go. So yeah, I'm kind of hoping that we have some more gameplay, and it would be very interesting just to okay. Yeah, you can go and review the gameplay footage or whatever after. After all, it's like a live broadcast. Just pause it if you need to. So, yeah, and it seemed like that there was like a little stun to use your gun, and then to do like an execution kill while it is that you're doing, like, you know, while it is that you're involved in melee with them. But yeah, that is oh yeah, this is gonna be good. So yeah. Hold on, real quick. How do I do that other thing here? Combat controls, knives, chainsaw, power axe, great hammer. No. Huh. Hold on, I have to look something up now. Let's see here. Space Marine 40K. Because I didn't use it beforehand, I don't really know how it works. It's a little thing on how it is that you know, Space Marine 40K, special. There we go. Alright. Actually, you know what? Let me go ahead and just do controls real quick. Yeah. I'll just do that. There, controls, I don't know exactly how I'm supposed to do this one here.
Never forget.
Ah, damn.
Never forget.
Well, I'm gonna be doing something here. But yeah, the gameplay looks alright. There's really not much to say at the end. I didn't think that they would actually reveal gameplay so soon, but that's just me. So yeah. Oh, god damn it. But anyways, let's talk a little bit about 40k canon, since there's really not much to talk about in here. God damn. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about canon real quick. One thing I always found very interesting about the canon... Sorry, I've got a cat here. I'm trying to adjust him so he's not, like, on my cord here. He's a blue Russian, for the record. Very affectionate. I actually kind of found him out in the streets. So, you know, while I was doing one of my walks. But yeah, one of the things I always found very interesting about 40k was the Emperor in particular. The fact that he is an individual who, for the most part, kind of operates on a sort of logic and understanding that isn't really all that well understood. God damn. It isn't really all that well understood. Because, you know, he's living for thousands of years. And, you know, he's able to do a type of calculus. Damn. Yeah. It's always sort of fascinated me. So, you know, and the reason why I say that is because it seems like the Emperor understood what was happening to humanity, and the reason why he did what he did was because, well, you know, humanity was going to become a psychic race. And due to what happened with the Eldars and everything else there, it seems like humanity was going to be in the same boat if he didn't do something real quickly. So, you know. And, you know, it's entirely possible given everything he was sort of trying to do, if you would. He was basically attempting to get humanity separated from the warp, which is, all in all, an interesting premise, really. God damn. Yeah. So, you know, everything it was doing in that sense was attempting to make it so that way humanity could have a means by which that they could travel, not only separating themselves from the warp, but making it so that way that they could control their issues and control their emotions and control everything involving with them. So that way they wouldn't go humanity wouldn't go the route of the Eldar race. So, you know. Which is an interesting premise, you know. It kind of sort of says a lot about what the Emperor was attempting to do. Ah, okay. You know, because a lot of people, and I say this primarily because a lot of people say that the Emperor was a fascist. I wouldn't really call someone like the Emperor a fascist. He definitely only adopted a particular set of understanding and views because, well, he himself understood where humanity was going. And if they were going the direction that... And if he was going in that... And if humanity was going to go ahead and end up creating another Chaos God like the Eldar, if he didn't, in some fashion or another, intervene, then that makes a lot of sense that he reacted the way in which he did. So... You know, stamping out religion, destroying it in any particular fashion, making it so that way humanity wouldn't be beholden to these particular ideas and notions. But of course, he ended up fucking up. Now, whether that was because of some sort of plan that he had involving everything, I'm not entirely too sure. Was his fuck up really a part of the plan? There seems to be like a little bit of a point with Sigismund that basically suggests that pitting the Primarchs against one another was actually not only a part of the plan, but it was also a part of the intent of the design and the way in which the Emperor did that. Which, if I'm being perfectly honest, means that the Emperor is kind of a shitheel. I mean, you know, but he did what he did primarily as a means of stopping humanity from creating a new Chaos God, which would have further destroyed any kind of sentiment or any kind of an ability for humanity to be able to continue, you know? It gets kind of tricky having to deal with that situation. It gets kind of difficult to make sort of calculuses in that regard.
The Manufactorum still holds.
Some Imperial Guard units made it here after all. They cannot hold for long. We must hurry.
But, you know, all things considered, it is a fairly interesting premise, to say the very least. At least in terms of lore. Oh.
What is that servo skull doing?
Trying to deliver a message. Must be damaged. The seal of the Inquisition. Interesting.
What is the Inquisition doing here?
We're about to find out.
This is Inquisitor Drogan. I need urgent assistance at Manufactorum Rejacis. They're after the experimental device. The device is safe for the time being. I've drawn them off. But now I'm trapped. If I die, you must keep the device out of enemy hands. Or he'll be unstoppable. I needed more time. Was nearly ready.
An experimental weapon. We need to find the Inquisitor before the Orcs do. Keep moving. Remain alert.
You misunderstand me, Autistic Beaver. I didn't say that it was relatable. I said it is an interesting premise. And it is kind of a thing, more or less, that you do kind of have to take into consideration when you sort of criticize the Emperor in these regards. But if I'm being perfectly honest, like, you know, again, he's a shitheel for pitting the Primarchs the way in which he did against each other. If that's like a part of his plan, according to, you know, according to Malkador. So yeah, I'm just like...
Serve the machine god by joining corpse removal crews at your designated evacuation center.
You know? So yeah, but, you know, that's really all I kind of wanted to say about... Oh, hold on for a second. My list here is kind of obscuring something that I need to be able to see to determine... There we go. Yeah. But, you know, that's really all I had to say on that regard. In terms of everything I mentioned beforehand...
The orcs must be operating that crane.
They will not stop until they break through that gate.
We must disable that crane.
But in terms of everything that I've seen so far from all... But in terms of everything I've seen so far from, like, the Imperium, you know, the... Okay. My cat keeps jumping on my lap here, so let me just adjust him real quick. There we go. So yeah, in terms of like everything I've seen from the Imperium, from the lore, it's kind of shit. The Emperor obviously made a mistake, and the way in which he's like... But if I'm being perfectly honest, like, did he have a choice in doing what he did? In creating the Imperium the way in which he did? Probably not. Well, I have two cats. The dogs are my brothers. So... Oh.
Personal message cache. Guardsman Alexander. Today was a good day. Clearing a foundry of orcs. I heard a banging from inside the furnace. It's a good thing I didn't throw a grenade inside because it was full of civilians. Starving, scared, some no more than kids. But still alive. Cheered everyone up to see them. Gives us something worth fighting for, you know. Now we just gotta keep the orcs away from them.
Sorry, I gotta hear that again real quick. I do like...
Personal message cache. Guardsman Alexander. Today was a good day. We were clearing a foundry of orcs. I heard a banging from inside the furnace. It's a good thing I didn't throw a grenade inside because it was full of civilians. Starving, scared, some no more than kids. But still alive. Cheered everyone up to see them. Gives us something worth fighting for, you know. Now we've just got to keep the orcs away from them.
Well, that is interesting to say the very least. So, yeah. One of the things that I've always kind of disliked, though, is the fact that the Primarchs are, like, in a fashion the way they are because of the Emperor kind of ignored some of the... Because does the Primarchs really need to suffer like that in some regards, specifically with that of oh, what's his name? The guy who basically ruled the Night Lords. I can't remember his name exactly, but it was clearly twisted up inside. He clearly had issues of visions and whatnot, and the Emperor should have attempted to talk with him to like set him right, to help him with his mind and whatnot, but he never did. So yeah, the way in which they were all pitted against each other is also very shitty. I mean, did that really have to be a part of the plan? Not really. Like, you know, although honestly, it's a little bit of a problem for me, and the fact that like he created these soldiers with the intention to help humanity, but then he did them primarily as a means of just. But he did so primarily by creating them as weapons, like the Thunder Warriors. So the question has to be asked, given that simple fact, was he going to kill the Astartes and everyone else as soon as he had it so that way humanity would achieve the state in which he was in? Kind of a shitty thing, honestly, if that was going to be the case. It's, yeah, no. I was thinking that might be something there, but not. So, yeah, I mean...
This is Captain Titus of the Ultramarines. Identify yourself.
This is Corporal Antioch, sir. That is, my lord.
I need access to the Manufactorum, Corporal.
There is a service lift in the hangar directly below where you drop the cargo, my lord. We can meet you there.
Stand ready. We will be there shortly. Titus out.
So, yeah. That's really the sort of criticism I have of the Emperor and his whole...
They cannot last long.
We did manage to bring the access bridge down, robbing the orcs of their advice.
Yeah, let's get off that topic for a little bit because, you know, there's really not much to say. I just wanted to sort of criticize the Emperor in this regard. I know, heresy. I'm definitely going to be going to the Manufactorum. They'll probably be made into a Silver Throne. So, you know... But... yeah, I guess the next topic is Young Justice Season 4. So, I gotta say, this particular season has been an absolute fucking banger. And I'll even go ahead and say something a little bit controversial. It seems like being canceled was probably a good thing for the entirety of this series because it seems like the entire series of Young Justice is being like pretty much like has outgrown its roots as the spiritual successor of the Teen Titans and has sort of become its own thing, which I think is fucking grand. It's like, I am so glad that we have now a series that is like as mature and nuanced as understanding in that regard. Also, Vandal Savage is, I wouldn't say relatable, but the version that they created there certainly has a lot of interesting stuff to be had about it. So, you know. So yeah. Yeah, it would have. You know, it probably wouldn't have. It probably would have just simply devolved into just cape shit. You know, it wouldn't have become as nuanced as it is. But you know, honestly, because they've got Vandal Savage, they've definitely got a version of him that is like very interesting. I wouldn't say relatable because you know it's very clear that he's power hungry, but as far as I'm concerned, the fact that his goal is to make humanity the center power structure of the entire galaxy and not be beholden or not be like what's the term? Or not be taken over or subservient towards anyone other than humanity. So, you know, which I wouldn't say makes him a good guy. Basically it basically gives us an understanding of Vandal Savage's motives beyond, oh, I need to take out the Justice League, you know, because they're making humanity weak. Why? Why is that the case? That would have never been explored. That would have never been. We would have probably never gotten the exploration had Young Justice not been canceled for a long time and brought back. Which again kind of shows how just stupid the executives are for canceling the show. They basically like said, "Oh, we're canceling the show because we're not getting enough toy sales. We're just not. No more Young Justice." Like, that's stupid. Why do that? And yet, the continuation, the revitalization of Young Justice kind of shows that, hey, there's a lot of nuance to be had with this particular franchise, you know? So, yeah. I like how each arc is centering on both the heroes
Corporal
and the
Antioch,
villains.
we are in position.
Excellent, Captain. I'm sending the lift up now.
Yeah, okay. I like how and due to the simple fact of this season, because they're centering on both the heroes and the villains, they seem to be giving us an understanding of some of the villains' motivations. You know, the Lords of Order being revealed the way in which they are.
Antioch, move the lift. We have orcs inbound.
But yeah. But anyways, I'm really liking the Lords of Order stuff. It's very fascinating to me. And the reason why I say that is because Lords of Order are technically kind of villainous in a lot of ways. They will do things. But the Lords of Chaos are very, like, sort of ethereal, in a sense. They are very, what you would call, just forces of nature all their own. And because of that, they don't really follow any sense of... yeah. So yeah, the Ma'ar's mark, by the way, like, I'm not too sure how I feel about the fact that they decided to go ahead and make, like, Mars the way in which they did, because it does seem a little bit ham. It does seem like nice. God damn. Yeah, good for you, Only Knight. Good for you. Pick up the grenades there. Yeah.
The lift is this way.
So, you know, like I was saying, the Mars mark.
Excellent, Captain. I'm sending the lift up now.
At the very beginning of this season 4 was really, really good. And I mean that in the sense that, well, I've never really seen anything tackled like it. It's basically like the perfect presentation of race as an allegory. And they had a couple of trans points to be... They had like a bunch of trans stuff involved in there, so, you know, and it was really great. And, you know, because this stuff wasn't handled in such a ham-fisted way, because it wasn't handled in such a ham-fisted way, like, a lot of it really felt natural to the plot. Like, the racism being given over to, in a sense, you know, and the way in which the racial relations were put forth, showcasing that there, like, Mars had like quite a bit of a caste system to go through. It was really interesting to me. You know, which kind of proves that yes, you can do race well as long as you actually are respectful to what it is you're trying to do. So yeah, I really did like that. But, you know, all things considered, it's like definitely better than season... It's definitely better than season 4, what was it, season 3, in which, like, they had other characters up there which acted more as references than anything else. Which to me is fine, but it seemed like, oh, this is a character here, here are the references and whatnot. You know, hope you enjoy them. We're not going to really do anything with them. We're not going to really explain anything with them. And we're just going to throw them out as kind of like Easter eggs for everyone. Which, I'll be honest, is kind of cheap. Now, there was one thing I really didn't like, which was basically the change that they did in Cassandra's. You know, I mean, her whole thing of like, oh, hey, I'm not gonna kill anymore in the comics was that, hey, I was sent someone to kill. I was like told I need to go ahead and kill someone, and I'm gonna go ahead and do that. But you know, when she did do so, she found out why it was wrong because of her understanding of violence and her ability to, like, understand body language as...
Corporal Antioch,
Yes, my lord.
we have word that an Inquisitor is in the Manufactorum.
Yes, Lord Drogon. We have not seen him for several days. Has the Liberation fleet arrived, my lord?
The fleet is still en route, Corporal. The Ultramarines are here as a vanguard, to cripple the enemy and secure the most valuable assets.
I see.
But the facility and its titans remain secure.
All I can say for certain is that no orc has breached this gate, my lord.
Contact Lieutenant Mira. Her unit is establishing a bastion in Hab Center Andres, and your support craft now have a viable approach from orbit.
What of the colonel and his staff?
They did not survive.
Here we are, my lord.
My thanks, Corporal.
That's interesting. Wasn't aware of that. But yeah. So, you know,
Keep that muzzle clean, guardsman.
the way in which that they changed it though was that, oh, I almost ended up killing someone. Oh, hold on.
Encoded transmission from Inquisitor Drogon to Inquisitor Lord Sharp. As we'd hoped, my lord, Forge World Graya is an ideal location to focus on my work. Though helpful, the tech priests of the Adeptus Mechanicus are forever curious. Interest can easily turn to interference. I will be cautious about involving them in my experiments, at least for now.
Okay, so, anyways, the whole thing with, let's see here. Yeah, the whole thing with Cassandra Cage and her whole, like, oh, I'm not gonna kill anyone because I almost ended up killing Batgirl, while at the same time trying to kill the Joker. I mean, I feel like it would have been better had they not involved the Joker, had they simply just, like, left him off to the side or whatever, or just had him kill someone.
At last. A place the orcs have not stained.
For now, I doubt even dropping that cannon on them will convince orcs to back away.
Indeed. We must find this Inquisitor and the Titan Invictus.
You know, and it's like, why? Why would you have her try to save the Joker in a certain sense? I mean, I get that it's also an explanation.
Work, focus, meet your quota. Increased productivity gains high favor from the machine god.
Huh. Okay, that's interesting there. You know? Oh, 40Ks in satire. Yeah, okay, well what the fuck was up with that then? So, you know, but anyways, like I was saying here, why have Barbara try to save the Joker? I get that they were basically trying to say or explain why it was that Barbara was crippled and what was that she was doing at the time, showcasing that yes, it involved the Joker, but not the Killing Joke stuff, which I kind of appreciated. But you didn't have to change Cassandra's background to do that. So yeah, Batman character saving the Joker makes no sense. Someone like the Joker would get shot by other criminals before the law or the vigilantes could get to him. Yeah, I can kind of understand that really. Although no one wanting to really go up against the Joker, wanting to kill him because he's just that fucking crazy and he could just get out of it. And if he gets out of it, you're a dead man. There's no really escaping him, which I guess is why nobody really bothered to do so. I mean, would you really attack someone as crazy as the Joker? I mean, probably if you could get away with it and kill him and 100% guarantee that he would never come back after you. But come on, it's DC. The Joker would probably get like revived and said, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go ahead and kill that person that ended up killing me. So yeah, death is kind of a nebulous concept in the DC universe. I get why people wouldn't want to do so. Yeah. Yeah, no, I get it. That's something there. But again, death being a nebulous concept in the DC universe is kind of a thing there, and kind of makes one double think, like, is death really gonna stick with the Joker? So, but anyways, back to the whole Cassandra thing. So it's like making her the daughter of Shiva.
Titan Invictus seems undamaged at least.
Titan Invictus seems unused, you mean? Is this invasion not enough to bring out the War Titans?
It takes hundreds to get a War Titan operational, Sergeant. Without them, it sits idle.
No, DC isn't filled with lazy writers. They're filled with writers that are pretty damn good and brilliant. It's just that, for the most part, when it comes down to it, they have to maintain the status quo. You know, they have to maintain a franchise, if you would. But all things considered, I definitely get your point. It is a little bit frustrating that they don't look at the whole hero-villain notion in a more realistic fashion and think, oh, someone like the Joker couldn't realistically exist in this universe for very long. Well, I guess we gotta kill him off. But then you're like killing off one of the most profitable characters imaginable.
Captain, this is an Augur station. I can scan for the Inquisitor's life signs.
Access authorized.
There. A lone human.
Identity confirmed. Drogon. Ordo Xenos.
He's in this wing of the Manufactorum.
I read alien signals throughout the facility, and a large number converging on the Inquisitor's location.
So, yeah. Yeah, anyways, like I said before, and you could have had her kill some sort of high-ranking mob boss or high-ranking leader of it, and had her realize that through the act of killing someone...
Section 449 is understaffed by 100%. Please rectify.
You know, you could have had her kill someone, and because she can understand body language the way in which she does, she more or less realizes that killing is wrong, which I think is very yeah, that would make sense too as well. But anyways, let's go ahead and do this real quick.
The orcs have reached the Western Territories. That's close, Caleb.
Not when all the planetary defenses and the Skitarii stand between us and them.
First you don't believe there's an invasion, and now you're not worried about it at all.
Lilith, we have a far better chance of being killed on the assembly
Do
line
not
than
abandon
far
your
away.
workstation. Workers, everything is take your stations. Be productive. Be dutiful.
Huh. Well, that certainly didn't last long. Anyways, yeah, like I said, I don't think that they should have changed Cassandra's background. It annoys me, is what I'm saying. Her background was just fine as it was. It should have been adapted in a way of like taking out some kind of mob boss that was working against the light, or working against the interests of the light, or whatever, or trying to take over a facility of the light, which would have been like kind of referential to the deeds that the League of Shadow probably would do. You know, I do kind of like the fact that she was trained as an assassin, if you would, by Lady Shiva. Had her vocal cords cut out and all that stuff, so that way she couldn't communicate, and all that stuff, primarily to make her like the perfect assassin. And it sort of creates an interesting abuse story, but you know, they could keep a portion of the background that's endemic to a character in the comic.
Use this panel to contact our other forces.
Not directly, but I can boost Vox range.
Do it.
Yeah.
Access
So,
authorized.
anyways, that's my main
Ultramarines
problem
chapter.
with the whole...
Here, Captain.
Ultramarines, this is Captain Titus. Are you receiving?
Captain, this is Sergeant Midas. Squad Solidus is on the ground and making for our objective.
New orders, Midas. We are at Manufactorum Ajakis and have located the Titan Invictus. I need Solinus to come secure the Invictus while I divert to a priority alarm.
On our way, Captain. Midas out.
So, yeah. Anyways, let me think here real quick. Oh, yeah. Superboy. Dying. Didn't expect that this season. Although, I think it's like, given the fact that they had the Legion of Superheroes kind of going around there, I'm pretty sure he's not dead. But it would be interesting if, let's say, for example, if we find out that, like, Superboy was supposed to have died in that era, and because they rescued him, he can never go back. I think that's what they might end up doing, just to keep everything the way in which it is. That, or they may end up deciding to go ahead and bringing him back along with Wally West.
Pipes. The orcs are in the pipes.
So, you know.
This way out, boys!
So yeah, let me see, what was I saying here? Oh yeah, I think Superboy is probably going to come back in that regard, and they may end up using the Legion of Superheroes, although if I remember correctly, I think Wally was for like from the distant future. So I think they may end up using the Legion of Superheroes as a means of like, hey, like Wally changed the future or whatever, but he was supposed to be alive. But because Bart Allen is here and whatnot, and he's doing his whole thing, because Bart Allen is kind of there, you know, he shouldn't be there. And they may end up doing that. Using the tunnels to get inside reminds me of... yeah, okay. Interesting. Didn't know that that was a thing there with Caesar's Legion. I haven't really played that much of Fallout. But yeah, they may end up using the Legion of Superheroes as a means of bringing back Wally. Not too sure what they're going to do with that one.
To Inquisitor Lord Shah. My lord, the research facility is operational ahead of schedule, thanks to the tech priests. I've already begun my work to create a stable energy matrix. Harnessing these unorthodox energies is proving more promising than I could have dreamed.
So yeah. So, anyways, I guess we got like about, I don't know, 3 more episodes till the half-season mark, which would be pretty interesting to see, you know? Kind of curious how everything's going to go in that regard, because apparently they're, like, doing a build-up for Justice League Dark, which would be really interesting to see, you know? But beyond that, I don't really have much to say. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about the Wheel of Time episode, the latest one that just dropped.
Repeat authorization.
I've been sort of watching each episode.
Prepare the power source for immediate release.
One moment.
Master, disregard all safety protocols and...
Speak clearly.
Ah.
Repeat authorization.
Ah, okay.
Inquisitor Drogon?
I am Drogon. And you are?
Captain Titus of the Ultramarines. We received your distress call, but you seem to have weathered the enemy's attack.
I am soldier and scientist, both, Captain.
What is the status of the experimental device?
The power source is running the entire manufactorum from the generator room.
This device is a fuel source, not a weapon?
It is a complex device and an unstable one. If the orcs find it, they'll try and take it apart. It could detonate with enough force to destroy the entire planet.
Then we must move it to safety.
And for that, Captain, I need your aid. This way.
You are wounded, Inquisitor Drogon.
I'm a psyker. My psychic abilities are controlling the bleeding.
Very well.
Yeah. I already know for a fact that he's in league with Chaos and all that stuff. I'm aware of it. I've seen the videos and whatnot of him turning and all that shit. Don't worry about it. And I've also like played quite a bit of this game beforehand too, so you know. Oh.
Space Marine! You're trying to steal my Titans? Steal my loot? I'll rip your guts right out your throat!
The orc himself.
I'm gonna put your head on a spike, Space Marine!
So yeah.
Oi! Get out of there and kill this Space Marine! Now!
But, you know, I want to talk a little bit about the Wheel of Time series, but before I do that, I'll answer the question. What do I think they're going to do with the next plot of this Space Marine stuff and whatnot? I don't really know. I have no idea. You know, they're going to be doing Tyranids here. They will definitely probably use it as a means of explaining what was up with, like, what happened with Titus in the last game. You know, because there was a little bit of a cliffhanger there. And that cliffhanger clearly, like, had a lot of... I mean, it got me, like, curious about what they're doing, really, but I don't really know anything on that part. I don't really get hyped or impressed by trailers that don't really do anything other than show me, like, a little bit amount of gameplay, which I was kind of surprised about, but for the most part, not all that big of a deal, you know. Until I see more, I'm gonna just hold my breath for right now and just see it in that regard. But yeah, it would be pretty interesting to have. It would be pretty interesting to see what exactly happened to him and why he's a Primaris Marine. That's probably going to be interesting to see there. But anyways, let me talk a little bit about the Wheel of Time series. So I've been like watching this series unfold.
The orc has a scent for us now.
Damnable creature. Had he not blundered onto this world?
But he did, Drogon.
You know, I've been watching this series, and all in all, I really do like it. I think a lot of people are being really unfair to it and saying that, oh, it should be like Game of Thrones or whatever. It should definitely be like that. And it's like, no, it doesn't have to be like Game of Thrones. It can be its own thing. It can engage in the material in its own way. And there's really no reason for it to do that. So yeah, but in terms of the fantasy, now I'll be honest, I haven't really watched any or read any of the books. Or I should say I read like volume 4 halfway through, but I don't remember much of it. So I'm kind of coming at from a new angle and a new response. And I gotta say,
Space Marine recognized. Full access granted.
nice. Okay. Alright, cool then. So yeah, in terms of what I've seen so far, I really do like it. The Aes Sedai and the way in which that they're somewhat callous to the positions of men. The fact that apparently the dragon poison magic for men to be able to use, and if they use it, they'll go insane. Like, as well as like everything else that the show has shown me so far is pretty damn good. It's all fairly unique. It's all fairly unique. It's all fairly interesting to me. So yeah, the fact that magic also can be used to manifest different abilities and different powers. The fact that some magic is more subtle than more use of magic is more subtle than others, but it comes from two different sources, one male and one female, is a really interesting premise. So yeah. Oh great. Oh great, that can't be good. So yeah. Yeah. The Aes Sedai sort of being an order of women is very interesting. I'm kind of curious how the Chuds are reacting to that stuff. You know, it's they're probably not really taking it well, since, you know, there are women with power and whatnot, and there are some women that are sexist and all that stuff, which tend to be the Reds are very misandrous. They hate men, apparently. And apparently there's like some tit-for-tat politicking going on, which sort of divides the tower in such a fashion.
How much deeper does this facility go?
And
Manufactorum?
you know,
Far deeper. The whole generator room is actually suspended above a venting shaft.
Suspended?
Yes. In case of catastrophic
well, a lot of them are
overload,
hot,
the whole
so
room
you know.
can be shunted away into the
Hey,
depths.
Olivia. Wait, was that? I think we have a spammer in the fucking thing now. Let me see here real quick. Hold on. Olivia Butler, you spammer. Type like no if you're not. Otherwise, I'm probably gonna. End up gonna do something here. Might not be good. Just making sure. I want to do something prematurely. Olivia. VSF.tech. Like, that looks like a spamming thing. I say this because, like, my channel's been targeted for spam from time to time. I've had to remove them. So, yeah. There's, like, I think a 10-second delay here between my responses and how chat goes up there, so I'll wait till that long. Well, I'll just remove the thing there. So, just remove the message there, just so that way it doesn't get on there anymore. And yeah, you want to if you want to say something else again, you can there, Olivia. It's fine by me, but yeah, don't post anything in the chat there that looks like a link. Hold on, because, you know, my channel might end up getting targeted at some point, saying, oh, there's like spam on this channel or whatever. You know how people can be. But yeah, like, the women in the series are seem to be an integral part.
Yes, a byproduct of the device's functioning.
You know, and there seems to be an interesting message about power. Specifically, who wields it, who has power over it. And honestly, like, the Aes Sedai seem pretty damn cruel towards men who wield magic. But it seems like that they're also wielding magic against the Aes Sedai in such a fashion wherein that the Aes Sedai might be a little bit oppressive. So you know, like when what was it? The false dragon is brought to the leader of the Aes Sedai. It seems like she is like very unresponsive and very cold to the very idea of like killing him, because apparently he wants to die, you know, because they severed his magic from him. And due to that simple fact, it ends up driving everyone insane.
Into the main chamber. We need only obtain the power source at the core of the generator. I will initiate decoupling from a control console.
Understood.
Ends up driving certain individuals insane, more or less, which I think is fairly interesting to say the very least.
Brothers,
you know, the fact that like gaining access to magic but then cutting them off of it would like make them go insane to the point.
Until the power source is exposed.
Identity confirmed. Drogon. Ordo Xenos.
Yeah. Again, I don't really know too much about them.
There. The primary shield is open, Captain. Head into the central chamber.
I don't really know too much about the universe itself, other than from what I've seen. I find it interesting that the ogres are called Ogiers, and they're not anything like what...
Captain, the war boss.
Space Marine! What are you hiding down here? Whatever it is, I want it! Don't get it, boys! Come on!
Hold back the greenskins, Captain. The power source will be free of the generator shortly.
Damn.
The job is worth doing. It's worth dying for.
Well, that was a little bit stupid of me then. Yeah, I was just about to use Fury mode when that happened. I figured I didn't need to, but you know.
Brothers, guard the access points.
I'll make sure to do that next time. But yeah, like it's all very interesting to say at the very least.
You must keep the chamber secure
The
until
fact
the power
that
source is exposed.
apparently magic inhabits the existence of certain objects, if you would, but if you take them and you're not able to channel it well or whatever, you will just like become infected and almost go insane in a sense, you know?
There. The primary shield is open, Captain. Head into the central chamber.
Alarm.
So yeah.
Xenos detected.
Okay.
Captain, the war boss.
Space Marine! What are you hiding down here? Whatever it is,
See you
I
later.
want it! Don't get it, boys!
Hold back the greenskins, Captain. The power source will be free of the generator shortly.
Power core explosion.
You can't run from me, Space Marine!
Now, head over to the servitor station.
But, you know,
It will
and
retrieve
apparently the
power
magic
source
will
and get
infect
it
you
into its
in that
canister.
regard, so, you know.
Space Marines to kill! Space Marines!
But the old gears, man.
What you want, Space Marine? Then I'll take it for myself.
You know. And apparently they're very deliberately like slow, really smart.
Rabbit, Captain. Force the power source into its canister. Quickly!
The whole room is coming down.
Now, I would assume that Space Marine 2 has probably been in development for some time, you know. I mean, it takes a long time to be able to create a game ready for, ready to show off in the trailer, and the fact that they still have, the fact that they have some gameplay to show off there, says that it might be ready in a sense. So, you know,
Sedonis, Leandros, respond.
Captain, the Inquisitor insisted you could not have survived.
Well, I did, and I have his precious power source.
We set a rendezvous in Hab Center Andres. These tunnels will spit us out there eventually.
Fine. Continue heading toward the Hab Center.
But yeah, they definitely did release the trailer as a means of doing a pick-me-up and whatnot before they were ready to sort of announce it, if you would. But, you know, they should also be able to get that same sort of pick-me-up with, what was it, Chaos Gate. And what's being shown there in that regard. Because Chaos Gate looks fucking sick. I mean, holy shit, I can't wait to play that. In fact, let's like, go to that real quick. Because I want to show a few things off of that. Hold on for a second. Yeah, Chaos Gate, Demon Hunters. Like, there's a lot of things that they've been showcasing here. But these are all fucking fantastic. Let's see here real quick. Let's just load this up. Load that up. Precision targeting. Balfour Edict. And the bloom itself developing. We'll go ahead and watch these first.
Located in the Baleful Edict Strategium, the star map provides you a tactical overview of the Tateus sector. Eruptions of Nurgle's bloom can affect multiple systems at once. Traveling between star systems takes time, so as Commander, look carefully and strategically. Each system that is lost will cause the Morbus tracker to tick ever closer to completion. If too many systems are lost, then the Chaos Gate will open, and Morbus, a prophesied collapse of the entire sector into the warp, will be unleashed upon the galaxy. You are the only strike ship the Grey Knights can spare to combat this threat. While Titan will support you with knights and resources when they can, you face this darkness very much alone.
Pretty cool, huh? Yeah. Next video is even better. Shows the destructibility of the environment in a sense, so you know.
The worlds of the Imperium are a grim fusion of mechanized industrialism and religious zealotry, ravaged by the battle scars of never-ending conflict. From desolate factories through to Gothic cathedrals, you will find that the threat of Nurgle's corruption is ever present. A shrewd commander can use objects found on the battlefield to their advantage. Plasma batteries can be targeted to cause massive area of effect damage, statues and cranes can be toppled to crush enemies, and bridges can be destroyed to halt the advance of maddened cultists. Within the war-torn worlds of the 41st millennium, might alone may not always be enough. Exploit the environment
Peter.
and
Say
arm
hello.
yourself with a tactical
Say
edge
hello
over
to the
an
chat.
insidious and unrelenting enemy.
Yeah. He kind of doesn't like being picked up like that, but, you know. It is what it is.
The Grey Knights are amongst the greatest warriors of the Imperium.
Oh, for the record, actually, that's a lore issue right there. The reason why it is it's only, you know, showing Slanet. I mean, the reason why is that they're not showing any of the other Chaos Gods and only Nurgle is because Nurgle is the main force trying to bring about this particular, like, prophesied collapse into the warp, whatnot. It's mainly them. And they're focusing on that as well because they've also hinted at that apparently we get to fight Mortarion, which is fucking awesome. Being able to fight a goddamn Primarch in here, Chaos Primarch, that would be great. So, you know, but yeah, that's the reason why. It's nothing to do with, like, without sex appeal or anything like that. It's just like, you know, Nurgle is the one spearheading all of this. So, and he's the main thread. He's like, his whole corruption in the sector is going to cause this, and you have to stop it.
Imperium, experienced, technologically augmented, and immensely well trained. When a Grey Knight fires his weapon, he does so with absolute certainty that it will strike his opponent. Precision targeting allows you to plan your strategy with confidence and ruthless efficiency, inferring immediately how much damage can be inflicted by a Grey Knight's attack and how much will be soaked up by the enemy's blighted armor. Though chance plays no role in whether an attack will hit an enemy, engaging foes in melee combat may land a critical hit, severely hindering opponents, such as brutally, and quite literally, disarming them to delay their actions.
This one's the best one, by the way, in my opinion.
The Baleful Edict Strike Cruiser is the most important asset for your Grey Knights, serving as transport, barracks, armory, hospital, and battle platform for your forces. As well as the star map, the Strategium also allows you to view your roster of Grey Knights, customizing their appearance, upgrading their skills, and equipping them with rare relics and new equipment earned via Titan-issued requisitions. The Liberis Malleus is dedicated to the direct study of the Bloom and how to combat it. You can also use this area to research powerful new stratagems, special tactical abilities you can deploy during ground combat missions. The Manufactorum allows you to focus on repairing and upgrading the Baleful Edict's capabilities, such as improving the number of Grey Knights you can recruit, the vessel's engine speed, or the time it takes wounded Grey Knights to recover. Upgrading the Baleful Edict takes time and resources. Prioritize carefully, for every change to the command center will affect the efficiency of your strike force.
So yeah, I think we'll end it right there. You can watch the other video later, but if I'm being honest, this is a game that's going to be coming out sometime soon. From what I've seen of the development, it's really great, and it's going to be a fantastic little, like, XCOM sort of type game, if you would, but in 40K, obviously. So yeah, and their stocks will probably jump up as a result of that. So, but they obviously, like, had Space Marine 2, you know, in the works for a while, which is why, and they probably showed it, like, now, just so that way they can, like, bump up their stocks in a sense. But yeah, honestly, this isn't really going to go, though, in which GW thinks it is, by just, like, if we just release content, we can keep being shitty to our player base. No, you need to stop being shitty to your player base. You need to, like, get rid of your zero tolerance policy towards fan art. You need to start embracing fan creators. You need to start showing your love towards the fans or whatever. Stop looking at fan creations as some kind of fucking, like, oh my god, stop looking at fan creators as, like, competitors using your IP, and use them use them as a means of promoting your shit as free advertisement. Look at fan creations as free advertisements. That's what you do. That's what fucking Bruver Alpha Busa was, in a large extent, kind of doing with 40K. You know, when he was creating his whole like TTS series, he got a lot of people into 40K, more so than not. Without it, in fact, to a large extent, his video explaining the warp and chaos and the chaos gods and everything else on there made me understand the universe far more than Luton. Trying to get the cat off me here. Hold on. Far more than Luton's videos ever did. So yeah. Well, that's the thing though. Like, GW needs to realize that don't control fan creators. Direct them in a direction that will help you gain free advertisement. You know, utilize some of their talents. Make it so that way you can actually have a meaningful relationship with them. That is beneficial to both your company, to them, and to your stock prices. Everyone wins or whatever, you know? I mean, it seems that GW just hasn't really caught up to the internet yet. They haven't really caught... They're basically Nintendo. In fact, that's probably the best way in which I could probably like describe them as, is that they are the equivalent of Nintendo, but for the tabletop, for the tabletop community. You know, Nintendo wants to be incredibly controlling, like that. So, you know. Yeah, like that. Yeah, like Lucas, where he hosted some fan films on his fucking Star Wars site. You know, he didn't say, oh, they used my IP, fuck them, I'm gonna DMCA them and all that stuff. No, he let it flow because he understood that fan creations are a good thing, because if fans want to create material out of your universe, you have a great opportunity to be able to capitalize on that and to be able to create free advertisement. You know, you benefit, they benefit, they could even get into the industry, you know? Oh, no, I was just saying that, well, you know, they didn't, like, strike down fan films, but they did strike down Let's Plays of their stuff, you know? That's another thing, too. Like, that's honestly even shittier, because, you know, I haven't gotten a cease and desist letter, or no one has, at the very least, trying to play their games in terms of GW, but with Nintendo, they did, like, bullshit strikes against their against Let's Plays, which it's like, what the fuck are you doing, Nintendo? Why are you targeting Let's Plays of your own thing? Like, is it because you want advertising revenue from the Let's Play? And that was it, basically. It was basically an attempt to get people who play their games to sign up to their shitty to the shitty Nintendo partner program, where they got even more money from them more of the cut than YouTube took. So yeah, in a sense, Nintendo was a little bit worse, if you can believe it. So yeah, that's basically what it is. But you know, instead of actually no, I'd say they're pretty comparable, because at the very least, like, Nintendo didn't do something stupid like create a means of yeah, true. But you know, but what was it? Nintendo didn't try to create a position of, hey, let's hire snitches to tell us who's like using and not using GW official models, so that way we can go ahead and do cease and desist letters on them, you know? Which is what they did back in the past, by the way. They're still doing that shit. So, you know, Nintendo at the very least learned from its mistakes and isn't doing that stuff anymore. You know, the Nintendo partner program is defunct. they're finally allowing Let's Plays of their goddamn games now, you know? So they learn from their mistakes. GW doesn't. So GW is in a sense worse than Nintendo in that regards. So, oh yeah. Do you not know this? Are you not aware of that, Holy Knight? I mean, I can go and do a segment on it right now. I did one like earlier or whatever, but I think you probably saw the video. But yeah, like that was like, whoa, shit. Nah, I think you probably saw the video, so I'm not gonna bother. So yeah, it really is just. It really is just like kind of a, hey, what's the worst way we can possibly fuck up our relationship with our fans after doing cease and desist letter shit? You know. Oh. Damn, I gotta be careful when I do that then. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, it is kind of a thing, really. Like, it's like, no, GW didn't hire snitches, you're lying. And then you look it up, it's like, oh my god, they actually did it. Those crazy motherfuckers actually did it. What the fuck were they thinking? Holy hell. But yeah, it is something like almost unbelievable. It's like something you would expect a parody to do, you know? But hey, there was something they did back in the day, so they did the same thing back in the day in which they sent a bunch of people cease and desist letters to individuals who were, you know, using their game with custom models back in the day. So, you know, the fact that they did it once before and they got a shit ton of flack for it, and then they inevitably stopped, and now they're like doing it again, says to me that it's hold on. I think this meme kind of sums it up the best. Let's see here, how many times? Here we go. So yeah. It's basically this meme here.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? I love the young people.
The old man is GW. This is basically this. So yeah. That's just all I had to say on that regard. Yeah, this is basically what we're going to have to do with GW. We're going to have to put their nose to the grindstone, and we're going to have to go ahead and grind it in as much as possible till they learn their lesson and they stop doing this. But, you know.
Kill the Space Marines!
Ooh. Anyways, going back to the Aes Sedai stuff, or rather the Wheel of Time stick, let me go ahead and talk a little bit about the plot itself. So apparently they're trying to find the next incarnation of the dragon. And the dragon is some kind of being that's reincarnated every like so often. And as a result, due to who they are, they hold massive power and massive strength in such a fashion that more or less makes them some of the most powerful magic users. God damn it. God damn. Yeah, they'll be sustained by that, but they will take a massive hit to their area, and they will not be able to produce the types of products that they used to be able to do. So, you know. There we go. GW had a sewage leak. Was this like in their... Please tell me this was in their headquarters. Please, oh please, oh please, oh please. I hope it was in their headquarters. I hope it did a shit ton of damage to their servers, to like all their stuff, to everything that they had, because they deserve it. So, you know. In fact, let's look it up real quick. Hold on. Let me look it up. Games Workshop sewage leak. Sewage leak. Games Workshop HQ in Nottingham shut until further notice. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm definitely reading. I'm definitely reading this. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, I'm so fucking happy about this. Holy shit, yeah. Due to major sewage collapse. Alright. Games Workshop. Gotta put on my narrator voice. Games Workshop's Nottingham headquarters in Linton is closed until further notice after a major sewage collapse. The company, which produces Warhammer products at its Nottingham factory and offices site, confirmed its headquarters and Warhammer World building in Willow Road is shut down after the collapse yesterday morning. Monday, November 22nd. Oh man, this happened like almost about a month ago. Cool. The incident meant the road had to be closed off. Had to be completely closed off, resulting in the closure of the popular store. Holy shit, so it was like the entire street that they were on. Kind of feel bad about anyone else populating the street, but it's a price to pay for GW, you know. In a statement issued on its Facebook page yesterday, Games Workshop Warhammer World said, due to unforeseen circumstances, Warhammer World will be closed until further notice. Good. I hope this contributed to their stocks being tanked. So, we've had a burst of yada yada yada. Yeah, okay. I am so pleased with this. Yeah. It seems like, I don't know, it seems like all the bullshit that they were doing got backed up and sort of backfired on them. Oh man, that's like, I mean, you know, it sucks for the employees. They're just rank and file doing their business, but honestly, GW as a company deserves this shit. You know, they deserve every amount of bullshit that they have been doing lately. So yeah. Hold on, let me see here real quick. Ah, damn, I can't... You know, I hope they fix the jump to allow me to, like, jump and then jump again almost immediately. But, you know, I kind of get it because Space Marines are very heavy, so... Oh. Huh. My bad.
I was right. For days I tracked that signal coming from beyond the sun. I didn't tell Transmechanic First Class Alaric because I didn't want to be ridiculed. And today, I heard voices. The signal's an Orc fleet heading straight for Grya. That's when I told Alaric. You should have seen the shock on his face. If he'd believed me a week ago, we would have had that much more warning. He was wrong. I was right. Finally.
Huh. I don't think you actually want to really be right in that regard. Like I get that Alaric might have been like a complete dick and asshole to a large degree, but like you don't really want to be right about shit like that. I don't know. Okay, looks like I've got to go ahead and go back in some of these missions and get some of these logs here, because I do want to go ahead and, you know. Yeah, that is kind of a thing there. We might get that during Space Marine. In fact, in a sense, I hope that there are certain areas of the level that are more open world-ish. You know, in which you can, like, jump around outside or whatever, go anywhere you want within the limits of that of the area and whatnot, you know. But hey, they had to have a limit somehow, you know. They had to limit the choice and the means of exploration somehow. So yeah, to be able to make this game the way in which it is, I mean, it's fairly cheap. But yeah, it's like, you know, you're not exactly wearing Terminator armor. Anyways, getting back to... Yeah, getting back to what I was talking about. Apparently, the dragon is an individual who is reincarnated every 1,000 years for the Wheel of Time. And is like the most powerful... And is like the most powerful magic user... And because of their status as the most powerful magic user, for whatever reason, he ends up like going up against something called the Dark One, which I guess is supposed to be this world's Sauron, I guess, which is going to be interesting to see. Like, you know, what does he look like? Apparently, he controls a number of monsters and a number of individuals, more or less. They're like cultists in a sense. And, you know, they're trying to bring the dragon to his side, to the side.
Adeptus Astartes recognized. Ultramarines chapter. Access granted.
Even here, the tech priests honor their machine god.
Vulcan assault pattern. Meltagun fires a scorching plume of molecularly agitated heat at close range. This power consumes the expense of low ammunition stores and long recharge between shots. Okay, I see. Ah, okay. So, you know, for whatever reason, the last dragon almost broke the world due to him fighting the Dark One. And I'm guessing the Dark One and the dragon have been in a constant battle, but dragon probably wins almost every single time, if you would. So... So, you know, and apparently the dragon ends up getting reincarnated, perhaps even in multiple different souls and whatnot. Which right now, currently there are 4 people, potentially 5, that are the dragon reborn, and one has to wonder exactly which one it is, you know? Is it the wisdom that came with them? Don't know. You know, it might be, but it's like, you know, given the episode before this one, it seemed like, oh great, they found the dragon. Okay, that clears things up. Nope, apparently they're not even too sure if she is the dragon. Which is an interesting thing, really. I'm kind of wondering about that. So, you know.
We're almost out of sterile dressings. I haven't even begun to treat the new burn victims yet.
You can't treat them. Give them something for pain, but that is all.
I am the Magos Biologis. No wound or malady is beyond me.
You are in a triage situation. Observe, analyze, and decide who we can save.
Yeah, that's practical. I don't really fault that at all. So yeah, that's kind of a fair thing to do. So yeah, apparently one of the individuals can control wolves or whatever, and it seems like I don't exactly remember their names. It's hard because like they kind of do the thing of Game of Thrones, in which they refer to them by title sometimes and sometimes by names.
Run, boys!
Well, they sure ran. Well, at least I killed some of them anyways. But yeah, the situation is interesting. One of them is like barely able to channel to some degree. Like she has the ability to, but might not be able to do it all that much. So yeah. In a sense though, like, who do I think it is? Who do I think it might be? Might be the redhead. So.
Adeptus Astartes recognized. Access authorized.
Superior Fury. Awesome. You know, I'm just going down that as a hunch because he's like a loyal individual who thus far hasn't really demonstrated any kind of power, but seems to have one of those sort of, I don't know, long-lasting protagonist vibes in which he's like unusually just, you know, I don't really have much to say about it because there's not really much to say. You know, I haven't really seen too much of the universe itself, so I don't really know what to expect. But yeah, I am kind of wondering how it's all going to go. Apparently, again, like I said, the Dark One in particular wants the dragon to join them, and wants to do it because, well, he apparently wants to end the cycle. And the cycle is like constantly going back and forth. Constantly going back and forth, you know? in this sort of fighting and issue of just like killing each other and then being reincarnated and killing each other again. At least that's what I got from the whole thing. Where is he at? So yeah.
It's a fight now.
I definitely recommend watching the Wheel of Time series. You know, it's interesting to say the very least. Ah.
Captain Titus.
Well met, brothers. Any idea of our position?
Should be nearing an access point to the surface. The air smells a bit cleaner.
I've had enough of tunnels. Let's get out of here and find the Inquisitor before the orcs do.
Got about 12 more minutes, so yeah.
Humans to kill. Sing for that. Kill them Space Marines! Come again, Space Marine! Kill the Space Marines!
I honestly don't know either. I mean, I guess I can kind of understand it because a lot of these right-wing chuds more or less started out, at the very least, not liking the female protagonists being presented because a lot of them aren't very good. They're not very well written. Some of them weren't very well written. Like Rey, for example. She was not a well-written female protagonist whatsoever. You know, she just wasn't. And the reason why I say that is because, well, you know, she didn't really earn a lot of her powers or abilities. There wasn't really anything that sort of optimally explained her means and all that stuff. Okay, I'll keep that in mind there, you know, and all that stuff. And some movies, they just, like, the female protagonist sort of sucked, you know. So yeah, and there were like a lot of really bad female protagonists that were like, whenever we criticized them or whatever, people were called sexist for it, you know. And by we, I mean like, you know, people who were like not on board with these particular characters.
Consider it green scum to open the way.
Kill the Space Marine!
Oh, that's good for you, man. You know? So yeah. And like, you know, what was it with the, what was it with Star Wars in particular? There was always this effort to literally engage in sort of faux feminist pushing, where in which it was like, oh, you don't like a female character? Well, you must be sexist. Like, no, she's just not well written. Admiral Holdo, for example, is like not well written because everything seems to indicate that she is like the enemy and that she might be a spy of some kind and all that stuff. But like, it's like, oh no, we just have to trust her, even though everything seems to indicate that she's not really that trustworthy, you know. It's like it forced us to sort of look it through the film and then look through it again to reevaluate everything that we did, but like everything else was pointing to the fact that, hey, this person might be a bit of a traitor. Obviously not, but you know, whatever. I just didn't like the writing and the setup of it all. But if you say that because you're criticizing Holdo and her like actions and the way in which the film portrays everything or whatever and all that stuff, you must be sexist. Like, okay. No.
Not much tidier than below. But at least we have the sky over our
Yeah,
heads again.
yeah, that's another thing. Like, you know,
This way.
like what was it? A list off the top of my head would have to be not just Leia, but also what was her name again? Naomi Sunrider. Yeah, that's it. Naomi Sunrider was fucking badass. She was a mother. She was. Oh.
So terror, demoralize the militia.
Cruel, but effective.
This was no strategy of war. For orcs, this was sport.
Yeah, okay, so like I said, Naomi Sunrider was badass. She was a mother who had to protect her child in the days of the Old Republic, and she ended up like going up against one of the Sith Lords and cutting him off from the Force, which it's like, that is extremely great. And her journey to do so, and understanding the Force and what she had learned and what she had learned it from, really made a lot of sense, you know? Hold on.
There's no room for them in the South Ward. Put them on the second level. It's completely full. That's where I've been moving the dying. That's it then. Bar the doors. You're closing the infirmary. We are being overrun. We must focus on the wounded already under our care. This is the only way. Take the servitors to keep the crowds back.
Yeah, she came to eventually like be the head of the Jedi Council during her time. And one of the biggest things that really made her interesting was also her like means of hunting down the Torrent attack. That was a particularly interesting oh yeah, that's another particular bit of detail that I think would be fairly interesting, you know? In fact, I gotta wonder, did they take did Star Wars end up taking, or did Disney end up taking that particular element of their lore? Oh, looks like the Space Marines are arriving.
Millions more of them.
Oh no, that's not Space Marines. That's just like
Get the Inquisitor
that's just
and the power
orcs.
source off-world.
So yeah. Oh yeah, that would be dope.
We will have a damnable time getting them out.
We are Ultramarines. Orcs are not a problem.
If we had a week, perhaps. But by then, the orcs will have worked out how to dismantle the Titans.
Space Marine recognized. Granting access.
So yeah. Unfortunately, Naomi Sunrider ended up dying in that. But, you know, it's really not surprising that she would have. Because, well, let's be perfectly honest. Torrent attacks are scary as fuck. I wouldn't want to face one as a Jedi. So, you know. But yeah.
Orc rocket launchers on the high ground.
So, you know, another particularly powerful female that I really like is the Exile, Mitra Surak. Even though I mainly played the Exile as a male, I always thought that Yeah. So, you know, and her journey was really great. It was like... So yeah, and there's not really much to say about her journey other than simply, well, play KOTOR 2, you know? Oh yeah, the
haven't left a single structure undamaged
or unblooded.
Yeah, she definitely did. It was fucking fantastic. Nihilus was scary as shit. Holy fucking hell. All the Sith Lords were in that regard.
Worker absence is unacceptable. Transgressors face severe remedial training.
So yeah, also the various different companions there. I honestly kind of wish that the Handmaiden had been more of a canon sort of character, if you would, in the actual canon, because I don't remember her name exactly, because she was called, what was it? Yeah, I'll just refer to her as Handmaiden. She was fairly complex and fairly interesting in such a way that, like, hints at the fact that she was, like, so dimensional, so three-dimensional. You know, she was an Echani, yet she was also the offspring of a Jedi, because she was only half Echani. And it's kind of hinted at that, well...
Report to Lord Sharp. The Fabricator General of Grya shares my vision for the power source. Today, he offered up the Titan Manufactorum to test the device's capabilities. There is a risk that the power source may overload and destroy the entire facility. But it is an acceptable risk. And the Tech Priest does not need to know.
Thanks for that. I didn't know. I kind of forgot her name was Brianna. Like, she says it like once. Oh, nice. That's cool then. I'm glad that that's the case. Really, I was hoping she was canon at some point in time, but yeah, it's also really hint. Also, if you go through some of the lore and everything else there, it's hinted that Kreia is actually her mother, which kind of makes me wonder, like, is the reason why it is that she was hinting that like you shouldn't train with the Handmaiden and all that stuff was because, well, because she didn't want you to learn about her past all that much? I don't know.
I'm surprised you showed up. There's no one here.
I didn't know where else to go.
Workers, assemble.
People are saying the Skitarii are dead.
I think people are right.
The increase in worker absences has been noted. Delinquent workers will be disciplined.
Kanan, what are we gonna do?
So yeah. But yeah, lots of great characters, you know. Not only that, you also have the Solar Twins, which is like, what is it, Jason's sister? Although it's kind of fucked up that she had to kill her brother, but, you know, that's kind of what had to happen, I guess.
Greenskin!
God damn it.
Orcs attacking!
So, yeah, that does seem to be the case. I mean, it's unfortunate, really. I really fucking hate it when, like, you know, if there's one thing that blood, that's guaranteed to make my blood boil, is like when workers are treated in a shitty fashion and they're abused and their rights are not maintained. But hey, it is what it is. But anyways, getting back to it, back to my point here, I think that's kind of the reason why it is that, you know, so many of these like right-wingers are against the very concept or idea of female protagonists. Which, like, okay, a lot of them have been fairly shitty. Not a lot of them have been very good. I can kind of understand that. You know, and the fact that, like, you were told you were sexist just simply because you didn't like the character and whatnot, is something I can, like, it's probably going to radicalize you, you know? So, and to me, like, that's a shitty thing. If you were radicalized because of that stuff, like, holy hell, that's pretty bad, you know?
Show them the fury! Space Marines to kill! Come and get me, Space Marine!
Yeah, she did. She did. So, you know, she became the Galactic Empress at one point in time, and then she ended up having to kill her brother. So, shitty thing that happened, but hey, it was something that eventually had to happen, so yeah.
Space Marines to kill! What's that grenade?
So yeah, honestly, I tend to think that the response to that people had towards badly written characters ended up radicalizing quite a few people, which really does suck. God damn it. So yeah. Which is a problem there. I mean, you know, if you call someone a sexist over and over and over again, and they're not being sexist at all, you know, eventually that person will just go, well, fine, I'm just going to go ahead and be sexist. Which it's like, you don't want that to be a thing that you engender. You don't want to create radicalization. How you respond to this stuff to radicalization is just as important as the radicalization in and of itself. So, you know. Oh yeah, female heroes shouldn't be shunned. But, you know, if you keep calling everyone sexist, you know, for having legitimate issues, you know, for legitimate issues with like Mary Sue's or with just your badly written story, like, you know, and you keep doing it over and over and over again, you're just going to create more people who are sexist, which is like, a lot of the left, for whatever reason, seems to have issues with being able to reconcile this simple fact, you know? Like, yes, you can create sexist by calling people sexist if that person isn't sexist. That's just the reality of it is. It's basically the effect of if you tell someone they're a piece of shit over and over and over again, they will begin to believe it. So yeah. No, I don't think that is actually kind of what happened there. I think that there were certain people who were definitely right-wing, who were utilizing certain issues and turning things into a culture war, more or less. That just certain factors ended up happening when certain people got involved, and as a result, fascists sort of happened. It wasn't so much that the left called everyone fascist that disagreed with them and people became fascists. It was that, like, there were fascists in the woodwork doing their whole thing and whatnot, and as a result, they took advantage of the entire issue there. So, you know. Okay, let me go ahead and see if I can find a Stalker Bolter real quick. There we go. Yeah. So yeah, it's complicated as well, you know, because sometimes you don't want to, like, create more of this stuff, but, like, sometimes there are people in the background trying to push you in that direction regardless.
Space Marines! Kill him!
So yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much, that's to a large degree probably what happened. So yeah. Yeah. You know, I can kind of see that. However, to be perfectly honest, if you end up becoming a fascist because the left is calling you a fascist and whatnot all the goddamn time, and, you know, and all that stuff, then, like, there is a certain degree of personal responsibility that you have to realize that, hey, maybe don't be a fascist, don't fall into neo-Nazi groups. I mean, you know, I end up getting called a sexist every single time I criticized Ray or whatever. Hell, my brother keeps doing it, by and large, saying that, oh, I didn't like this movie. Oh, it's because it had a female character or whatever. No, it's because it was badly written or whatever. He does it every fucking time. And it's getting annoying to the point in which I don't really want to talk to him about media all that much anymore, which is a really huge problem there. But I don't become sexist. I just, like, refine my points so that way I don't sound in that fashion, you know?
Changed.
So
Hannah hasn't returned. I think they're going to close off that whole stratum. I have to get to her. You'll be back from the food depot before we are. Tell your mother where I am when she arrives. And both of you, stay there. Pack up the food as best you can. Reports are that the orcs have already reached the manufacturer. We'll need to leave as soon as we're together. I'll be home soon.
which is kind of interesting, really, if you think about, because he, like, one of the things that he complained about was that I don't get why it is I'm called an SJW. It's like, really, you don't get why it is that you're called an SJW. Maybe it's because every single time someone has an issue with the film or whatever, you immediately jump onto the idea that they're like sexist or racist or whatever, and it has nothing to do with like the writing, which it's like you should always assume it's the writing first and foremost. God damn. You should always assume that they have a problem with the writing, unless of course they themselves say that it's the case really. And if their issue is like, oh, the protagonist is female, then yeah, call them sexist, you know? Okay, I'll make sure to do that then. You know?
Workers of Class 9 and below do not qualify for medical attention.
Greenskins.
So, you know, I mean, and another thing, like, just assume good faith upon the people that are, like, criticizing stuff. Don't assume maliciousness unless they, like, are completely unresponsive to your point of views, you know? You know, if they're completely unresponsive to what it is that you're doing there, you know, if they're completely unresponsive to your idea, to your points, and they like become aggressive in a sense, in an unreasonable fashion, then like, okay, yeah, you could probably assume maliciousness on their part. You know, you could probably assume that the reason why they're doing it is because they're sexist or whatever. But if you also are like deliberately trying to rile the person up, which is what my brother does a lot for whatever reason, you know, he just like, he prefers riling people up with whenever they have a problem with their whenever he has a problem with, you know, what it is that people are saying about a movie that he likes, or whenever a movie that he doesn't, whenever somebody has a problem with a movie that he likes or whatever, he'll like somehow assume bad faith upon the person, and he'll like try to fuck with them as a result. And I only say that that's the case because, well, I only say that because that's kind of what I get out of him, you know? I get his, like, trolling home mentality and whatnot. He doesn't really take any fucking conversation seriously in that regard. He's just, like, he's just not acting in good faith in a lot of the time. So, you know, whenever we talk about politics, we pretty much agree 1-to-1. You know, we're like agreeing in a lot of fashions. There's some things we disagree with, other things we don't, or whatever. But, you know, we more or less can work it out.
To Lord Sharp, the power source succeeded in fueling the entire Titan Manufactorum. A remarkable feat. I have not forgotten my true purpose on Graia, my lord. I have dedicated my life to defeating the alien horde. Now I will use the power source in a weapon that exploits the very weaknesses of our alien foe.
So, but yeah, that's a bit of a problem on his end. I feel like he doesn't realize that he does this, or maybe he's just doing it deliberately in some cases. But if he is doing it deliberately, So, but yeah. But, you know,
We'll have to bring all of these structures down.
if he does this to other people, though, he's going to create radicals. He's going to, like, start creating more and more people who are against him from the sheer purpose that that's what he does. And, like, I don't know. He needs to, like, stop doing that shit. But hey, that's my brother, really. That's kind of the way he is, really. And I kind of just have to deal with that. But yeah, like don't become a neo-Nazi, don't become a white supremacist or whatever. No matter how much you get radicalized and whatnot, just like don't do that. Even if people are calling you it, just resist it. Resist it at every single point. But yeah. Yeah, that's the problem there. Like, you know, I don't know if he does it to other people. I've seen some of his posts and some of his arguments and some of his
We need to get you off planet before we're overrun by orcs.
You were exposed to the unshielded power source. In the generator room, I saw it. You held raw energy from the warp. How are you still alive?
The power source conducts warp energies.
The stuff of chaos. Heresy.
My work against the Xenos has the Imperium's blessing.
Can your blessed work help us against the orcs?
My research is of the utmost secrecy. The Imperium forbids its use without sanction.
Consider that your Imperial sanction.
Very well. The power source fuels an experimental weapon at my research facility. The Psychic Scourge. It could destroy the orcs.
You didn't think to bring up this Scourge weapon before.
The Psychic Scourge has never been test-fired, Sergeant. If it malfunctions, it could crack this planet in half.
We're out of options. We fire the weapon and take our chances.
Yeah. But like I said, I don't know if he's like doing this to other people. He doesn't seem to do that. He seems to only do it to me, which makes me think that he's like just
far from the plaza where Lieutenant Mira was headed. The Imperial Guard rally point.
They will have Valkyries. We can fly to the research facility. Let's find this Imperial Guard outpost.
Yeah. Like, which makes me think that he's just doing it to me. Which ultimately makes me think that he's trolling. So, you know, but anyways, went on a little bit longer than I thought. 20 more minutes anyways. But yeah, that's really all I have to say. My brother's a pretty cool guy. I'm not really talking shit about him. I just have my problems with him, and you know, these are sort of the problems I have to deal with, I guess. But I hope he's not doing that. And you know, if he does, he honestly needs to stop. So yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely get that. Anyways, I'm gonna end it right here real quick. Since the stream has kinda gone on longer than intended. So yeah, it was a nice chat with you again there. I will probably go ahead and end up doing more of these since I've got a better mic now. And yeah, hopefully I can go ahead and work things out in that regard. See you later.